So I've been listening to this album far too often, and I really want to talk about it. But who am I going to talk about this with? But I realized I don't really have too many people that I can talk about this with. And then I realized I've got a YouTube channel that I could talk about whatever the hell I want. So here we are! Metal Resistance by BabyMetal. So BabyMetal is a metal idol band from Japan. I have a couple friends that are into the idol J-pop scene, and they let me know that the idol J-pop scene is usually that type of music, very much like our own pop scene, but everything is very manufactured, everything is very driven by committee, very formulaic, and very kind of like right down to the formula type of music. The big twist on this one, though, is that BabyMetal is, well, metal. So instead of being that overly catchy bubblegum sugar pop song that we're used to, this is kind of a sugar metal. They really got their breakthrough here in North America with that single of Give Me Chocolate. But I just kind of thought, okay, well, you know, it's kind of a flash in the pan, whatever. It's an interesting take on music, but I'm probably not going to hear much more of them. Until I heard their second album, and that's when it really caught my attention. So I at least wanted to give it a spin. See, I figured with the second album, they'd have a little bit more of a budget to hire some more musicians on within the creative process, and I was right. They were able to bring on Herman Lee and Sam Totman to help out with a few of their songs. And for anybody that doesn't know, these are the two driving forces, the two lead guitarists from Dragon Force. So that definitely caught my attention. And so to get right down into the music that is found on this album, that musical style has been injected in a number of their songs. And definitely that first song, really showing that power chord metal type of style playing with the double kick drum bass. So the first song of Road to Resistance and the later song of AMORE sound right off of a Dragon Force album, with a couple of teenage girls leading the front lines in terms of the vocals. And it actually fits a little bit better within this setting. I know it sounds weird, but it works very well. In terms of the musical presentation, at least within the metal scene, the band is a little all over the place in terms of metal, which actually works to their advantage. They don't get bogged down into one specific style, and they're able to kind of test the waters in different styles. I mean, they definitely have a lot more of the brutal style, almost taking him back to the nu metal, which I wasn't a really big fan of, but songs such as Karate, GI, and Cis Anger definitely feel like that kind of nu metal, at least in certain parts of their songs. But this brutality is a really great contrast to a lot more of those technical planes that we've come to expect with a lot of those metal bands. Songs such as Awadama Fever, Meta Treo, and that power ballad of No Rain, No Rainbow. It really provides a really great contrast for each. You've got that brutality, but you also have that technical playing as well. But overall, even within the individual songs, it's a very strange blend of that power metal with that double kick bass with that idle bubblegum pop. It feels to me like one of those velvet blacklight paintings from the 70s where you have that overly dark background with a very bright and very phosphorescent forefront with a lot of pinks, a lot of greens, a lot of blues that are really popping. And the two play contrast with one another, and it blends very well. It really kind of tickles both of my brain parts, where I crave that overly brutal and overly powerful aspect, but also those very catchy and almost sugary song layouts with those vocalizations. So for example, in the song AMORE, you have that very catchy J-pop style of song structure and the vocalizations that draw you into this song, and then bam, you're confronted with that power metal blaring guitars and that double kick. And the track of Cis Anger is a really interesting and tasty song, being one of those very brutal songs. And I love that vocalization part in particular. The harmonization's always just off a hair, and so it creates this really strange, almost tension going on throughout the song. But really, the main reason why I keep coming back to Metal Resistance is the two final tracks of Tales of Destiny and The One. The Tale of Destiny really encapsulates that harder and brutal side of metal, almost being that extreme tech prog metal Never really reaching that style of Opeth between the Buried Me or the Faceless or anything like that, but they are getting some really fun moments throughout the song. They do revert back to that double kick drumming that strings the song through that I'm not really a big fan of, but in the interludes I can't help but smile and really get into the song. Those instrumentals within the interlude is really quite something, and it shifts away from that Dragon Force-esque style of music and getting into more of a Symphony X or Dream Theater style. They're having a lot of fun with those time changes, and that build up towards the end is a really interesting take, which leads us right into the one, possibly my favorite song on this album. And because it's using that inertia from Tales of Destiny, it really kicks it off on a perfect start. I usually listen to these songs back to back. The overall song is just wonderful. It has this wonderful guitar solo near that middle piece of the track, which goes into that great musical interlude with a few time signature changes, and then it ushers into a really nice build-up, which then reintroduces us back to the main theme of the song. Overall, yeah, it is definitely a manufactured sound, and you can totally see the committee that are behind these girls when creating this album. But the decisions that this big committee made were really good ones, and ones that led to a very pleasant listen from start to finish. I definitely have to say, stream this guy with headphones, give it a listen and find out if it's up your alley. It's an album I've been listening to a little too often lately, and so that's about it. What did you think about BabyMetal's new album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whichever it was, let me know by commenting below. And thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.